What's this fudge? Okay, so we will sign and break out the chocolate. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Okay, counselors, would you join me up here too? I know we're all going to say a few words as well. I don't know, and budget team, I don't know if you want to stand or whatever, but love to have you up here for the signing at least. Okay, so I'm so grateful to everyone for taking the time to be here. Thank you for many hours of thinking about and prioritizing and making tough decisions about how we best deliver the resources to deliver for residents across every single neighborhood. I'm so thankful to be here with our Chief Financial Officer, Ashley Grauffenberger, and members of our budget and finance and assessing teams who have been hard at work for a very long time on this. And we are so grateful to all of our colleagues on the City Council. Shout out especially to City Council President Ruthie Lujen, Chair of Ways and Means Brian Worrell, and all councilors for hosting more than 120 hours of budget hearings to get us to this point of signing the fiscal year 2026 City of Boston budget. Thank you to every resident who participated, who came to one of these hearings, who shared your feedback on the work that we have been doing and the work that remains to be done. This is a partnership to ensure that every dollar is going as far as possible for every Boston resident and every family. And working together has meant that maybe in an unprecedented, or at least for some time, way, the City Council returned a unanimous approval on the amended version of this budget, which we are very happy to approve and sign. Most Bostonians know how much work goes into building a budget because we're having to make tough choices at home already. We're building budgets for families that are trying to live out the dreams for our kids, to take care of our elders, to make sure that every opportunity within our city is possible. And building a budget for that city, just like for residents, means making sure that the money that we've worked hard to earn and that residents are trusting to us will be enough to buy and deliver what is needed for the people we love. Together with colleagues on the council, we're proud to be continuing to invest in our residents' top priorities: housing and jobs, basic city services, community safety, public health. And at the same time, this budget is balanced, as it is required to be every single year by state law. We can't spend more than we take in, and so we've continued to exercise the same level of fiscal discipline and responsibility that year after year has earned the City of Boston a AAA bond rating, the highest possible rating from both ratings agencies, Moody's and S&P. This is the 12th year in a row that we have achieved that. And I just want to reinforce exactly what that rating means. Last month, that AAA bond rating was affirmed by two independent analyses from two of the largest credit rating agencies in the country, whose sole objective is to assess the city's long-term creditworthiness and financial health. And taking every factor into consideration, both agencies determined that Boston has once again earned the highest possible rating, the greatest affirmation of our sound fiscal health as a city and our ability to deliver for our residents. This is a direct reflection of Boston's strong economy and a testament to financial management, decision-making, and leadership that we are celebrating collectively here today. So, although we're facing the same uncertainty that cities everywhere are dealing with right now, the reality is that Boston is in the best possible position to weather this moment. Here in Boston, we will not be pushed backwards, even with all of the challenges and all of the uncertainty happening and in other parts of the world and at the federal level. Over the last 3 years, we have focused on making sure we're investing in the services that our residents rely on, that we're delivering these services more efficiently and more effectively. We've staffed up to restore different roles that throughout the pandemic were stretched very thin to support our workforce. And that has involved also bringing many critical functions in-house that previously, with staffing levels stretched, had to be contracted out at very expensive hourly rates. This has allowed us, for example, to be able to maintain our technology platforms much more effectively and quickly and deliver improvements in 311, multilingual capacity, and other ways for residents to be in touch with us, and platforms to register for a business or a change in your home more quickly than was possible with previous external contracts. And similarly, in managing our capital projects, we now are able to move more projects at once than ever before, whether it's for the Boston Public Schools or across our community centers and other city building portfolio. So we are going to continue to double down on what our residents expect and demand from this city, which is excellent services, stability, a basic foundation of health and safety and opportunity for everyone. So thank you again so much to the City Council for your partnership. We look forward always to continue the work together alongside our communities to make Boston a home for everyone. So now I'll pass it over to our CFO, Ashley Grafenberger, followed by our City Council President, Chair of Ways and Means, and then all of our council colleagues to say a word.
Okay, good morning. Thrilled to be here joining the mayor and the Boston City Council in approving of the fiscal 26 operating budget. I'd like to thank all of the people that have had a role in this process, first and foremost the mayor and her team for their guidance and leadership throughout. Our budget team, led by Jim Williamson and Johanna Bernstein, and my deputy Ellen Hatch, for their work and the many months they put into compiling this budget, the finance cabinet and all of city leadership for participating in this process, and of course the Boston City Council, Chair Brian Worrell, Council President Ruthie Lujan for their support and leadership. The city's $4.8 billion operating budget and $4.5 billion capital plan are thoughtful, responsible plans that honor the city's commitments as an employer, asset owner, and service provider. This budget continues to invest in the nuts and bolts of city government, health and safety and human services, high quality inclusive education, and creating more affordable housing and homeownership opportunities. Like the budget we introduced in April, the budget we are approving of today reflects consistent and stable revenue growth, but is more modest compared to prior fiscal years. Most importantly, this budget prioritizes fiscal responsibility, meeting our long-term obligations while maintaining excellent city services and recognizing and adapting to an unpredictable economic climate. And it is precisely because of the stable revenue sources and years of responsible budgeting that just last month, as the mayor said, both Moody's and S&P reaffirmed Boston's AAA bond rating, the highest rating a city can achieve for the 12th year in a row. Unlike many other major cities, Boston's budget is stable and resilient to short-term economic volatility, but we're not immune to challenges and will continue to actively monitor, manage, and adapt to the changing environment. As we face this moment of economic uncertainty, we will look to our partners on the City Council, like we did throughout this budget process, to guide the city through whatever lies ahead. I'm incredibly proud of this budget and grateful for the shared work and collaboration to get us to the finish line, and look forward to what comes next. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ruthie Lujan, President of the Boston City Council and at-large City Councilor, and it's a joy to be with all of you to sign the amended budget this morning as we champion our city and continue to do the work of building what Ashley stated, what the mayor stated, a city that is resilient, that is efficient, and making sure that we are doing the work of offering a budget that is reflective of everything that we heard in community meetings. So this is a community-led budget. Thank you to our chair, the indomitable Councilor Brian Worrell, who led us through this process. This is his second year shepherding us through, and I couldn't imagine having a better chair leading us through this process. So thank you so much, Councilor Worrell. I want to thank all of my colleagues who are here and who stood with us all along the way in these hearings and community meetings. Councilor Braden, Councilor Weber, Councilor Durkin, Councilor Santana, Councilor Murphy. I know Councilor Coletta Zapata is on the ferry on her way here because the blue line is down. But I also want to thank all of my colleagues who are not here because this did not come easy, 13-0 unanimous vote. So I also want to make sure to uplift and thank Councilor Fernandez Anderson, Councilor Fitzgerald, Councilor Flynn, Councilor Mejia, and Councilor Beth Penn, who all worked together at these hearings and in these community meetings to make sure that we were working with what was a pretty solid budget already, making sure that we are listening to residents and addressing the issues of the moment. We also would not be here, and I'm sure the chair is going to get into this, without our incredible budget staff. I see Karishma here, so thank you, Karishma, for your leadership throughout the process. And to all of our members of central staff, and also, of course, Mayor, to your team, to Ashley, to Jim, to everyone, to Ellen, to Alon, for all of Joanna, to all of the work that you do to make this possible. We have a AAA bond rating, and there are not a lot of cities of our size and stature that can say that. That is because of efficiency, that is because of effectiveness, and that is because we are making sure that while we are prioritizing the things that residents need most, that we're also doing it in the most effective and efficient way possible. A lot of the amendments that you saw come through the council are the issues that we hear most from the residents of the city of Boston. Number one is housing. Everyone will tell you that is the number one issue, so we invested more money this year into housing vouchers to help our residents who are in need of vouchers and in need of placement, especially our BPS students. Speaking of our BPS students, I want to thank Councilor Weber for continuing to champion and getting all of our counselors alongside us to continue to champion the Access to Counsel program for our BPS students to make sure, yes, you can clap it up, to make sure that our BPS students aren't facing eviction during the school year, because we know stability is the most important thing for educational outcomes. But our amendments also reflected a bit over $9 million in value, reflected the things that you have seen this council year after year champion: housing, program for our youth, programs for seniors, making sure we are working on the everyday quality of life issues, from parks in East Boston and the North End, to pool repairs, to downtown parks administrator, to private way repair programs. It's something my neighbors are desperately always talking to me about: more street trees. We are investing more in diversity and inclusion. We don't change just because who changes at the federal level, making sure that Boston public libraries have the resources that they need to ensure that there's a diverse workforce, helping them retain their core programming there. And also, as always, we know that small businesses are the heart and the backbone of our cities and of our economy and of our neighborhoods. So making sure we are investing more in our small businesses. Again, this is a group effort. I am so proud of this council and again of the chair for the unanimity in how we moved and how we invested in all of these matters in fire screening and screenings at our fire department when it comes to cancer screenings, in support for our veterans. I reject, and I say this all the time, any idea that we can't take care of everyone in the city. We can walk and chew gum. We can take care of the most vulnerable who in our city, and we can make sure we're doing the everyday quality of life issues that matter most to our residents. It's a joy and an honor for me to lead this council, for me to be here as we sign this amended budget, and it's a joy for me to introduce the Chair of Ways and Means, Councilor Brian Worrell.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. First and foremost, just want to thank Mayor Wu, her entire team, the CFO, the entire budget team, all the chiefs, executive directors. I also want to thank all of my council colleagues who are here and who helped pass this amendment budget. Council President Louis Jen, Council Murphy, Council Mejia, Santana, Coletta Zapata, Flynn, Fitzgerald, Pepin, Weber, Fernandez Anderson, Durkin, and Braden. I also want to thank all your teams, because I know so many hours gets put into this. I also want to thank my team, who's over there in the corner. Yes, Matt, Stasi, Anushri, the entire team. Central staff, our budget extraordinaire, Karishma, and also MC, Megan. And I also want to just thank the public as well. True collaboration takes compromise and a collective will to do what's best for the people of Boston. I'm very proud to work with all my colleagues who have delivered an amendment package that reflects the values of our residents. I'm also glad that the mayor has accepted this package, recognizing the collaborative work that went into delivering these investments. While the debate on the floor only lasted 1 hour on Wednesday, there was more than 124 hours of public hearings, working sessions, public testimonies, and hundreds of more hours of behind-the-scenes work by staff and counselors that led us to a unanimous amendment package. The result is a budget that reflects our values and delivers for the people of Boston. The package of council-directed investments features a $3 million increase in housing investments, putting critical dollars into proven programs that will provide access to counsel and much-needed relief for renters and pathways to home ownership. There's a $1.7 million increase in programs for youth, investing in our young people to provide more pathways to the futures they deserve. We funded $2.2 million to improve the lives of residents by investing in public safety and public health efforts and improving critical city services our residents rely on. We made additional investments to make government work better, streamlining processes, and creating a more efficient and accessible City Hall. And lastly, we increased support for our most vulnerable residents at a time when our communities are under attack. In Boston, we know that our immigrant, LGBTQ+, Black and Brown communities are a source of strength. Our process has always been about more than shifting numbers on the page. It's about our residents and how government can best serve them. This year's budget was especially critical. With the real threat of federal funding cuts hanging over us, we were tasked with walking a tightrope, protecting vital city services while also preparing to respond swiftly to any financial shocks. That's not an easy balance, but we did it. We delivered a budget that doesn't just maintain the status quo, it pushes Boston forward. When there are more youth jobs, Boston wins. When we can house more people, Boston wins. When we are helping newcomers learn English, Boston wins. And when we are working together as a council, Boston wins. And let's be clear, none of this would be possible without the residents who showed up. You organized, testified, emailed, and stood with us every step of the way. Your voices and your stories made these investments and amendments real. This package reflects what we can do together. We know we have a long way to go in creating healthier communities, in getting our children on a path to success from the cradle to their careers, but we invested in the tools of progress that will allow Boston to repair the inequities of our past, to keep moving forward together in the present, and to be strong enough to stand up for what's right in the future. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. I first want to thank the mayor. When I stood up on Wednesday to vote in support of this budget, I said thank you to the mayor and her administration for giving us what I believed was a strong budget and something we could really work from. Also, want to thank Councilor Worrell. I know you'll be thanked many times today, but one thing and one of the reasons why there weren't, for the first time, amendments that were filed on the floor and hours of debate is because I do believe you really looked at each of our requests, and through those hundreds of hours with community, with us in working sessions, you made sure that all of us felt that something that we wanted was seen in this amended budget. So thank you for that. Thank you for really taking that personally and knowing that we can work together. We are a strong body, but it takes someone like you, that leadership, to show that we were all valued through this whole process here. In things that I know they've been highlighted, but it was important for me to see always more housing, more support for our youth summer jobs, something that I know Councilor Flynn filed and I was in support of recently at a hearing where we heard from the fire department that the average life expectancy of our firefighters after they retire is only 5 years. So more investment in cancer screening, because they know that their health insurance doesn't cover the important MRIs and scans that this extra funding will help support. So making sure that we're supporting our workforce, our residents is wonderful, and just proud to be here. And thank you again, Councilor Worrell, for getting us here.
Good morning, everyone. I think my colleagues have said most of what needs to be said in this moment. As the chair of the Housing Committee, I'm very, very pleased that we have landed on this budget. Housing has been a problem, a great need in the city of Boston for many years, going back probably over decades at this point. But I think we as a body and in partnership with the Mayor's administration are working very hard to do everything we can to address the housing crisis. We need more housing and more affordable mixed income housing across a wide range of cost points, and I think this budget will help us do that. As an immigrant, I also stand in solidarity with our immigrant community. I have advocated since I've been on the City Council for more ESOL classes for our newcomers. This is is critically important so that they can stabilize their living home situation, get better jobs, earn more money, and really be really productive and members of our communities across the city. So this is a wonderful budget. I think it was a strong budget to start with, and as a council we worked collaboratively together. We wrestled with the questions, how is this going to work, and can we afford this? And I think we've landed in a good spot. So I want to thank the Councillor Worrell for his leadership as the Ways and Means Chair, his team, and Karishma, who has a wizard with audio-visual so that we can visualize. Words on paper don't mean much, but when you put it up in visuals, it really helps a lot. Karishma, thank you for all the work. I think, can't imagine it was a lot. And thank you, Mayor Wu. We're going to be signing an amended budget, and it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Ben Weber. I'm the District 6 City Councilor. My son is graduating from high school today. Boston Arts Academy, they have a great graduation speaker, Rusi Louis-Jen. But I'd like to think that this budget helps us create this kind of city that we can hand off to the next generation of Bostonians, my son and all of his classmates. And it's the kind of city where, we help people pay their rent, regardless of their immigration status, where we welcome new arrivals, teach them English, and where we have provide legal representation for families that are in eviction proceedings. And I'm flattered that our council president highlighted my work on the Access to Council program, but I only have one vote on this. And it's really, we got this program through because of the vote of all of my colleagues on the council and the support of the mayor and her team. And so, I really feel like we have all collaborated on this process, and I'd really like to thank my colleagues for supporting these programs 13-0, and to the mayor for supporting it here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know the word collaboration has probably been said a dozen times, but I just want to say it again. Thank you to our mayor. Thank you to my colleagues on the city council. This work was true collaboration. And one quote that I love is that you know people's true character under pressure. And I just want to thank Chair Worrell. I truly saw his character through this process, and I saw the character of a lot of my colleagues in these working sessions and through all the hearings that we had. And I just want to thank, as I think about sort of how we come together, and I just want to thank my colleagues who sat through these working sessions, because really that was where the collaboration happened. And I think if we were to try to duplicate this process again, I think we couldn't do it without this mayor, because today she's signing an amended package completely and wholly of the city council's making. And I think that just speaks to her leadership as the leader of the city, to say that while we have so many shared priorities, that our priorities as a city council, 13-0, matter. And that is true leadership, Mayor Wu. Thank you. And thank you to all my colleagues. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the great work of Karishma. It should be Karishma Day in the city of Boston, because she did a great job. So thank you so much, and welcoming my council colleague, Councilor Gigi Coletta Zapata.
Okay, I'm trying to think of something that hasn't already been said. No, this is, I know, I apologize I was late. I took the ferry from East Boston because of the Blue Line closure, so just FYI for everybody. No, thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you to the CFO. Thank you to our venerable chair. You exemplified incredible leadership. Yes, collaboration, but also compromise. That is not easy. We all leaned in to that hard work, and we are here, as it's already been mentioned, because of our incredible mayor who knows the value of compromise and what it means to move the needle, not just numbers on the page, but move the needle on tangible, positive change for our residents. And I'm speaking directly to the residents of District 1, East Boston, Charlestown, the North End, and the Wharf District. This budget invests in basic city services. This is something that you have reached out to our office, to the mayor's office, and I'm sure my at-large colleagues. This invests in basic city services, the nuts and bolts, the bread and butter of city work, housing vouchers, youth jobs, climate, mobility, and our schools. And so I'm very proud of the work that we did as a council that was fiscally responsible and that was data-driven to make sure that we are delivering this positive change to our communities. One thing or two things that I want to highlight are the investments in ESOL classes, as well as legal assistance for some of our immigrant families in our schools. And so I'm very proud of that work, and just want to thank again everybody that had a hand in this work. It takes many hands to do this work, as we know, and I'm very proud of the product that we will be signing today. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to also thank everyone. Thank you, Mayor Wu, and thank you and to your entire team. Thank you, Chair Worrell, for leading us through this process. I was very proud to support this already, what was already a good budget, and add great amendments to it. I think I'm also, as the last speaker, trying to find what, not to repeat things, but as many of you know, my #1 priority on the Boston City Council has been our youth and our little ones, and I was very proud to see investment into our youth jobs. As the mayor always says, we're by no coincidence, we're the largest, safest city in America, and that has a lot to do with our investments into our summer youth programming, and I was very glad to see those investments be made and supported unanimously by our council. Also, as an immigrant from the Dominican Republic, I was very glad to see our Office of Immigrant Services right now getting investments. Right now, this community is being targeted by a federal government. We need to make sure that we're putting resources to these offices. Another great investment that I think our office or our council was able to make is increasements to our Office of LGBTQIA2S+. Again, another community that is being targeted by a federal government, and we need to make sure that resources are being poured into these communities. So, I was very proud to stand alongside with my colleagues. I think the key word here was collaboration, and was very happy to see all my colleagues who represent all different districts, the at-larges, is being able to come together and make a good budget better. Thank you.
And shout out to IGR. IGR.
Thank you, IGR.
Oh, you're here. You are.
Yeah, a little water. Sorry, guys. I'm going to take this flash off. Hopefully, you can get above my head a little. Are you guys in? You got to move in tighter. There you go. I got it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. You too. Yes.
Was the idea that we break out?
Was it fun? Remember how mad I got?